Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herold here on Badlands Media. I'm your host, John Herold, and I'm back. I was at GART down in Cocoa Beach, which, by the way, was just fantastic. You guys are awesome. Everybody who attended, whether that was in person or virtually, big shout out and kudos to you guys. It was a great weekend. We had a great time. We had some great panel discussions. And then, as soon as the conference ended, we decided to drive all the way to North Dakota. I mean, we kind of had to get my girlfriend's car up here. But I tell you what, that is not something I ever want to do again, is drive 29 hours. And we did it. We left at like 1:30 or 2 or whatever from Florida on Sunday. And we got to Bismarck, North Dakota around, I think it was like 1 o'clock on Tuesday. Really only stopping to sleep like the 6-7 hours on the 2 days, and then like for gas and stuff. So that was pretty brutal. But other than that, it was a great weekend, and it was nice to disconnect from the news every now and then. I highly recommend everybody should do it. Disconnect from the. Did I start mid-sentence? What? Yeah, if there's any issues with the stream today, let me know, because I'm testing out, and you guys will probably make fun of me for this, but I'm testing out a stream to Instagram, and I don't know if it's even working. Well, it looks like it might be. Yeah, I'm trying to stream it, trying to grow the audience. One of the things we discussed while we were down in Cocoa Beach, but it looks like when I was gone, everybody kind of lost their damn mind. Everybody lost their mind. We have a potential government shutdown being ended, and I'm going to go through a couple things in that bill because it's a little ridiculous. We have, what else do we have? Oh, we're talking about H1B visa holders again. That's fun. I remember everybody was up in arms about that about a year ago, and apparently we're all up in arms about it again. So I'm looking forward to getting upset about that again. Yes, we are live on Instagram. That's cool. Cool beans. Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna get a quick word from our sponsors, and then I think we'll just start plugging away. Lots of random news stories. Epstein drama. Again, that's always fun, right? We'll see what happens. First up, a quick word from All Good. Badlands Media's own Jessica is the one who runs this. Make self-care great again with All Good by Jessica Storm. This holiday season, treat your hair to All Good's bestseller, the Tallow Hair Mask. Deep hydration, zero junk, just simple organic ingredients with purpose. While you're shopping, grab the new drops, Tallow Beard Balm, Tamed Hair Serum, and Pure Whipped Tallow. All handcrafted in small batches from Clearwater, Florida, and delivered to you in glass jars, so it's all good inside and out. No toxins, no parabens, no sulfates, no BPAs, no PFAs, and no BS. Head on over to badlandsmedia.tv/allgood and use promo code Badlands to snag your discount and support Badlands Media. It's badlandsmedia.tv/allgood, promo code Badlands. We just got a quick word from Save Pulse. Today's show is also sponsored by Save Pulse. They're dedicated to keeping you and your family healthy with top quality medications like amoxicillin, azithromycin, ivermectin, and hydroxychloroquine at unbeatable prices. The streamlined ordering process makes it easy to stock up on all your health essentials. And now with exciting news about fenbendazole showing promise in cancer research, they proudly offer this alongside antibiotics and other viral care meds. So don't wait. Prepare for any health scenario today. Get your supply and stay ahead of the curve with Save Pulse. Go to badlandsmedia.tv/meds. Use promo code SAVEHEALTH at checkout to get a 20% discount on orders over $100. And please note that some packages have been held up in customs recently, but those packages are en route to their destination. And how are you guys doing in the chat? It's nice to see a couple people say they miss me. That's cool. I appreciate that. Phil Scarborough, corrupt as shit and illegitimate AZ Gov, Katie Hobbs, in all kinds of hot water. and under investigation. Will they get her on election fraud too? I doubt it, but maybe. I would love to see some actual justice and accountability at some point. Will we ever get it? This is one of the things we discussed down at GART. There's this I think there's some good back and forth and some good pushback between realistic the realistic situation and realistic expectations, and then like more of the optimistic hopium type. Maybe hopium is a strong word. I don't want to say hopium because there are some reasons to be like optimistic about whether it's investigations or election fraud stuff, reform. There are reasons, but we just haven't seen the net effects of it yet. So there's also reasons, like you could go both ways. Like never mind, I'm not going to go there. But anyway, I'll check in on the chat a few times. Let's first check in on Doge, because guess what, guys? There's no update on the Doge website. This is another thing that was surprising about GART. A lot of discussions brought up Doge and how everybody's like, yeah, Doge is in all these agencies now, and they're finding all this, corrupt spending and wasteful spending and whatever. And that's possible. But again, haven't seen it. And I'm probably the only guy on the internet who checks the Doge website every single day for updates. And in terms of like how often they update it, it's pretty damn inefficient. The Department of Government Efficiency is not very efficient when it comes to updating their own website. And eventually, like they say here, this will initially be updated weekly. Over time, the website will improve and the updates will converge to real time. Maybe this is real-time updates. Maybe that's the problem, is we're not actually saving any money, and this is the real-time updates. But it does say here, it was last updated October 4th. They're not very good about updating this. And you could argue, it's because the government was shut down, and maybe that's true. We'll come back from the government shutdown, and it'll be, trillions of dollars, but don't hold your breath on it. Don't hold your breath on it. Yeah, you guys are talking about me having to drive. I do get real antsy if I'm not the one driving. And so I'd always come up with I had schemes and trickery to make sure that when CC was driving, it was only for a very minimal amount of time. Micro Toolmaker for $55 says, great GART experience. Where we go, when we go all. Good to see you, man. It was good to meet you in person. And he also gifted 10 subscriptions. Really appreciate the support. And he was very generous with Ash this weekend in her legal defense fund, which was awesome. Got to talk to the Micro Toolmaker a little bit. He's aptly named on Rumble. I'll say that because he showed me one of his tools. It's a micro. It's insane, like insane in a good way of how he's able to actually make that tool. I don't understand. I wish I could have gotten to talk to him more. But yeah, thank you for the support, man. It's good meeting you. Anyway, no update on the Doge website. Shutdown continues though. For now, we have a bill passed by the Senate. We'll talk about that in a minute. And see, here's the thing. I'm like playing catch up. Like I'm talking to you guys as if I'm breaking news. You guys are probably aware of all this stuff anyway already that I'm going to probably discuss today, but that's fine. I'm going to do it anyway. No update on the presidential website in terms of actual anything. The last executive order we had was back on November 4th when he updated the reciprocal tariff rates with China. Otherwise, it's just nominations, anniversary of the Marine Corps, which we celebrated at GART, Veterans Day, great stuff. I mean, that's great stuff, but it's not like actual executive orders. Oh, it is anti-communism week. That's, woohoo, great stuff. But yeah, so the Senate, they passed a bill or resolution to reopen the government through January, and they send the legislation to the House. It's rumored that the House is going to be voting on it today. It's been shut down since October 1st. It's the longest shutdown in history. It's been shut down for 41 days. I think I saw something having to do with the shutdown. I think somebody sent me a DM. Like I thought they were going to keep it shut down for 41 days so that, let me see, to clear out the SES. Not happening. It was Eric Jones who sent it. And we're past 41 days. So let me see if the context of that is right. I thought it was 60 days originally. And I might not get the answer that I want now. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. I'll come back and look at that. It just reminded, like when they said 41 days, it reminded me of the DM I got, which said the same thing. So maybe it's significant, maybe not. We'll come back to it. But the resolution passed 60-40 vote. It's a 390 some page resolution. I'm going to read you a couple sections of it. One section, really. But yeah, it looks like the House is going to vote tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. Exciting stuff, guys. Exciting stuff. But this is the part that like kind of threw me for a loop. So anytime these bills come out, and I didn't spend a lot of time, like I haven't read the whole thing word for word. If you just go to the beginning of the document, it gives you the table of contents. And this is, if you're going to look into stuff like this and want to get into actively reading documents, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. It's kind of boring. But if it excites you, this is what you do first. You go to the table of contents, you read through and pick the stuff that you think seems interesting. So like right off the bat, I went to foreign assistance, mostly has to do with food program stuff. And then the legislative branch stuff is the other thing that kind of stuck out. And I think there was, miscellaneous. There was nothing in there. But my first passing, that's what stuck out. And it's this subpoena one that is really weird. Okay. And I think the government officials are kind of like doing themselves a solid here. And I think it's kind of bullshit. So requiring Senate notification for disclosure of Senate data. Now, if you remember back in December of 24, when we had that whole kerfuffle about the continuing resolution they were going to do then, and they had this huge, monstrous, like 1,300 page bill. Nobody really read through it. They had their AI go through it, but I went through that thing and I found something super interesting where they were going to actually quash. I think that's the right word, quash or squash. I don't remember. It might be both might work. But either way, they're going to do one of those words to subpoenas if they and I was like, why are they including this in the continuing resolution bill? My mindset is the same thing here because that had to do with data as well, like Senate data and House data. If some investigation was looking into the Senate or the House and they wanted their data, they could like basically squash that subpoena and have them not look at. I think it's quash now. Now that I think about it more, I think it's quash, not squash. That's going to drive me nuts. I'll have to figure that out later. Anyway, so this, let me show you the right part here. Talking about data they get from a Senate office. They talk about target of a criminal investigation. And right here, notification by providers. In general, if any provider for a Senate office receives any legal process seeking disclosure of Senate data of the Senate office that is transmitted, processed, or stored, whether temporarily or otherwise, through the use of an electronic system established, maintained, or operated, or the use of electronic services provided in whole or in part by the provider for a Senate office, the provider for a Senate office shall notify the Senate office, and unless specified otherwise by the Senate office, the office of the SAA in writing. I'm not sure what sergeant at arms maybe. So right away, like if there was a criminal investigation into you or me, let's say, they're not going to disclose that they have subpoenaed my data, my phone data, until after they like bring charges, right? Like they don't have to notify us. At least that's my understanding of how it works. But the Senate right here is passing a rule that, yeah, you have to notify us. We're not going to be treated like every other citizen because we're the government, the Senate. You have to tell us when we're under investigation. If they are trying to subpoena our data, you have to let us know. Okay. And then there's no limitations on notice. That's the next part. Provided for a Senate office shall not be barred from providing notice to a Senate office and the office of the SA under subparagraph A by operation of any court order, any statutory provision, any other provision of law, any rule of civil or criminal procedure, or any other rule, regulation, or policy. They're literally making a rule for themselves that they are above the law when it comes to this stuff, when it comes to criminal investigations and at least notifications. Okay. Little sketchy here. And then they give them a pass on liability. A provider for the Senate office shall not be liable under any criminal or civil law for providing notice to a Senate office or the office of the SAA under this paragraph. So they're basically saying if there's an investigation into them, they are not they do not have to, like, they are not subject to the same rules and laws that we are. They get notification by a provider, and the provider will not be held liable by providing the notice to the Senate. This is BS. This is BS. But there's another part here. I want to find the right. Okay, special rule for target and non-target investigations. In general, if a senator is a target of a criminal investigation, a court may, upon application by the United States, issue an order delaying the notice required under this subsection with respect to an acquisition, subpoena, search, accessing, or disclosure of Senate data in connection with such investigation for a period of not more than 60 days. So this is where it's like, okay, criminal investigation, they can get like a waiver, and up to 60 days they can withhold it, and they can like try to re-up it or whatever. If there's reason to believe that providing notice would endanger the life or physical safety of any person, result in flight from prosecution, result in destruction or tampering with evidence, result in intimidation of potential witness, whatever. So a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo, but still BS in my opinion. And then this is the part that I don't think is even, this is the part I think is even worse. Private cause of action. Term instance with respect to violation of this section means such discrete act constituting a violation of this section, including each individual device, count, all this stuff. Violation of this section. The seeking, maintaining, or obtaining of a non-disclosure order or judicial sealing order to prevent notification of a senator, Senate office, that Senate data was acquired, subpoenaed, searched, accessed, all these things. So what they're doing here is, if you remember, a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago even, there was that story where the Biden DOJ and Jack Smith, I think it was the Arctic Frost, they got access to a whole bunch of senators' information without notifying them. We didn't even find out about it allegedly until Kash Patel came out with the data. And this whole section has to do with that. But it gets even worse. The relief part. The Senate is basically making a rule and backdating it so they can sue the government and make a bunch of money off of it. Relief. In general, if a senator prevails on a claim under this subsection, the court shall award for each instance of a violation of this section the greater of statutory damages of $500,000 or the amount of actual damages, reasonable attorney fees and costs of litigation, or such injunctive and declaratory relief as may be appropriate. Upon motion by a senator, a court may award such preliminary injunctive relief as the court determines appropriate with respect to a claim under this subsection. They're creating a law to make it illegal for anybody to like subpoena their stuff, whatever. That sucks. They're above the law. We get it. And now they're creating relief that if it happens, they can sue and they get a bunch of money. It's like, okay, well, that's crazy. They can't, anybody who does it, they can't claim immunity or whatever. That's fine. But then wait till you see this part. Limited retroactive applicability. In general, the amendments made by this section shall apply to any acquisition, subpoena, search, accessing, or disclosure of Senate data, and to any failure to disclose such an acquisition, subpoena, search, accessing, or disclosure occurring on or after January 1st, 2022. So then they backdate it, and they're going to allow themselves to sue the government for a whole bunch of money for the stuff that the Biden administration did when this wasn't in place at the time. I mean, yes, it was still illegal. All that stuff shouldn't have happened. But they're basically creating a law so that they can each sue and make a whole bunch of money. And I kind of think that's bullshit. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? The Senate is putting in a continuing resolution bill to reopen the government, by the way, a section where, one, they are required to be notified if there's anybody like digging into any of their data, okay? And the provider gets immunity, or, you know, they're free from liability for sharing it with the Senate office, okay? 2, it's illegal to do such a thing now. Like, you cannot look into their information. And if you do, without notifying them appropriately, they can sue you and make up to $500,000 each instance. And then they backdated it to 2022, so it covers the Arctic Frost stuff. This seems like abuse of power. Seems like if I were to create a rule for myself, Like, I don't know. I can't even think. I'm too perfect. I can't even think of a rule that I would violate. But let's just pretend if I made it illegal for somebody to. No, that's probably not a good joke. Well, here, if I just made it illegal for anybody to call me a criminal and misusing Badlands funds, and then I backdate it, like I made the rule today, I'm going to backdate it for 6 months or so, and then allow myself to sue them, and like it doesn't really matter. I can sue you, and I get, I'm not as litigious as some other people out there, but I can make it so I just make bank rolling in, and I can go back and find a whole bunch of instances of that happening. It's crazy stuff. Doesn't seem right. What's new rules for you and not for thee? Yeah. Yeah, pretty much just Coke. Except they fabricated, not backdated. But yeah, anyway, so this is the super important stuff that's in the bill that is being sent to the House to reopen the government and allow themselves to wastefully use more of our tax dollars. We're going to have a whole bunch of tax dollars going to pay off Republican senators who got spied on by the Biden administration. Oh, it's ridiculous. There is some stuff about SNAP benefits in here. I think they are being renewed. I think I have a story of that too. Where SNAP benefits stand amid negotiations to end the government shutdown. The current federal government shutdown, which has set the record for the longest, has also interrupted Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP benefits. The federal government shutdown began, blah, blah, blah. Supreme Court on Tuesday extended a pause of a federal judge's order that the Trump administration pay full SNAP benefits for November. The delay is slated to last until late Thursday. In the meantime, Congress may reach an agreement to end the shutdown and reinstate full SNAP benefits. Well, the federal government is mandated to pay full benefits. The Trump administration said the funding to pay 100% was not available and supported paying 65%. Originally, the administration had said it would pay 50% of benefits. We'll see what happens. I don't know. This whole thing's too. I was hoping it'd just stay shut down forever. So part of me is depressed that it's even being talked about opening back up. But whatever. They've blamed the air travel on this, and a lot of Badlanders, like Badlands hosts, had issues with their flights, which the airports were blaming on the shutdown, which was silly. But it's kind of weird. Like, why are these control towers working for the government anyway? You know what I mean? Like, I understand TSA being, Department of Homeland Security. I get that part. But like control towers, shouldn't those be owned by the airport? And like paid for by the airport? Or the airliners? The airlines? Like, why is that a government position? I never really understood that. Ghost of Base Veteran, what gainest doth thy report on today? You should rewind a little bit, Ghost, because in the bill to reopen the government, not to rehash the whole thing, but the Senate basically put in a provision where they're going to be able to sue the United States government and make a bunch of money. And they backdated, they made something illegal and then backdated that being a crime so that they could sue and make a bunch of money. Real crazy. But anyway, let's talk about this because everybody's up in arms about this, and maybe rightfully so, but maybe that's the point. Let's take a listen.
Republicans have to talk about it.
And does that mean the H1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent.
When we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
Well,
I'll
give you an example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea that made batteries all their lives. Making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing. It's very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it. Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say a country's coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant, and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years, and they're going to start making missiles. It doesn't work that way. Republicans.
You know, weren't we like during the Cold War and World War? Like, weren't we making all sorts of stuff? We didn't need help from India back then to make our missiles. Are they the only ones that know how to make batteries? I mean, okay. Maybe we just needed to have another debate about what it means to be America first. And I do think that's the point when Trump does this stuff. Like, he knows what he's saying. I don't think he believes that we don't have the talent here. I really don't. But he says it, and it gets everybody pissed off. And then, you know, next week he'll come out and say the totally opposite thing. It's the feedback loop. He's playing good cop and bad cop in the same over the same subject. We talk about this all the time. Chris Paul talks about this all the time as well. I don't think he actually believes it, but people are freaking out, and I think that's good. I think it is good to constantly have these discussions and reminders about what it means to be America first, and that you don't have to agree with everything Trump says. Because we went through a period for about 5-6 months at the beginning of this administration where you were not allowed to question a thing. It was you either cheerlead or you're anti-Trump, which is stupid and not productive. And not even, it's not logical. Like, there's so many things wrong with that point of view. You can support a person and what they're generally trying to do and disagree with them on specific finer points of whatever it is. It is impossible, in my opinion, to 100% align with anybody ideologically. Like, that's so rare, and that's boring as hell. So yeah, Trump comes out, says something I don't even think he believes, and it upset people because it's really not an America first stance. And when it comes down to it, that's what we should all be advocating for at all times. Like, every situation, is this thing America first or somebody else first? And if it's somebody else first, why the hell are we doing it? And yeah, if we're going to be we're in the middle of this like mass deportation, finding illegal aliens, all these things, and we're getting these people out of our country, and now we're talking about bringing other people in. It just brings me back to the Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk and the whole H1B visa holder debate, and everybody was freaking out, and Vivek Ramaswamy basically like removed himself from Doge because of it. Now he's running for governor of whatever state he's running for governor of. Ohio. It'd be funnier if he was running for governor of Indiana. That was a dumb joke. Sorry. Apologies to Indianans. But yeah, so he's pissing everybody off, and there's some follow-up questions to his administration. Okay, and they're not really doing a great job of covering his tracks. And it's kind of clear to see that his own administration, and I already knew this, I think you guys already knew this, Trump's administration does not like disagreeing with Trump. They're kind of pussies. And this is why I personally believe I'm the world's best boss, because I like when people disagree with me. Disagreement is how you foster creativity. But take a listen to Kristi Noem.
What is the administration's position on these visas?
No, we're going to keep using our visa programs. We're just going to make sure that they have integrity, that we're actually doing the vetting of the individuals who come into this country, that they want to be here for the right reasons, that they're not supporters of terrorists and organizations that hate America. And that's what I think is so remarkable is under the Trump administration, we've sped up our process and added integrity to the visa programs, to green cards, to all of that. But also more people are becoming naturalized under this administration than ever before. More people are becoming citizens because we're not just streamlining and building some processes back into our immigration policies. We're also making sure that these individuals that are coming into our country and get that privilege, that they actually are here for the right reasons. The Biden administration let thousands of terrorists into this country. They opened the southern border. They abused our asylum programs, abused our protective programs and visa programs, and we fixed all of it. It's remarkable what President Trump has done, and it's because he's a great leader. He's a visionary, and this man is going to go down as a legend in history as our greatest president ever.
Madam
Brown noser, even though I agree. I agree with the last part she said. Not sure I agree with everything else. You know, it's unrealistic to expect that we're ever going to get to a point where there's zero people coming into this country and like everything is just America first. I totally get that. Unrealistic, although I would love to see it. I would love to see us. I do think we have the potential, the capability, the smarts and everything to do it all ourselves. Whatever jobs there are out there that only Indians can do, or H1B visa holders, Chinese, whatever, doesn't matter. Whatever job out there, I guarantee you that there's an American out there that can do it too. A veteran out there that can do it too. A homeless veteran probably. But no, we're going to give it to H1B visa holders, or at least that's what they're saying, pissing people off, which is great. If we're going to have some sort of program where we do bring in these like super qualified whatever that we can't do here, if we're going to do that, then there needs to be, and I think this is something Trump has talked about in the past, but there needs to be somebody footing the bill for that isn't the American taxpayer. Like, okay, so if you have you need to bring in an engineer for AI or whatever, Oracle or something, Oracle foots that bill and pays the government for it. Like, yeah, we're gonna not only pay this person to come here, but we're gonna pay the government a fee, like a headhunting fee or something, for every one of those people that comes in. Or maybe it's the person themselves, if they want to come here, the gold card idea. Like if they want to come and become a citizen, it should be a privilege. It should not be a right. It shouldn't be just, even if you have the talent, whatever, it doesn't come free. Like there needs to be some benefit to the people that are getting jobs taken away from them. Pay down the debt, I don't know. But I don't love the rhetoric, and that's okay. But there's probably a reason for it. He's getting everybody pissed off about it right now. And then next week when he comes out and says the exact opposite, or they do something that's the exact opposite, everybody's already going to be like, okay, well, great. This is what I wanted the whole time. Because keep in mind, he's just saying it. As far as we know, he hasn't actually implemented anything yet. And maybe it's part of some trade deal he's negotiating. And that's why he's saying it. 100K per visa. That's great. I think it should be higher. Allowing tens of millions of illegals to stay and more to come is the replacement. Well, let's talk about what Besson said quick about the same topic. This is a little bit longer video, but it's good.
Laura Ingraham aired her interview from a couple of days ago, and the kind of clashed a little on H-1B visas, which you upped the fee to $100,000. I want you to watch this and tell me what you think.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles.
Where do you stand, Mr. Secretary?
Brian, for years, 20, 30 years, we have offshored precision manufacturing jobs. And the president's point here is, we can't snap our fingers and say, you're going to learn how to build ships overnight. We want to bring semiconductor industry back to the U.S. There are going to be big facilities in Arizona. So I think the president's vision here is to bring in overseas workers where these jobs went.
Who have skills.
Who have the skills, 3, 5, 7 years to train the U.S. workers. Then they can go home, the U.S. workers fully take over.
So do you understand the concern that people have? Hey, an American can have that job. Why you give it to a guy from India or
But an American
China?
can't have that job.
So
because,
it's specific skills.
Because we haven't built ships in the U.S. for years. We haven't built semiconductors. So this idea of overseas partners coming in, teaching American workers, then returning home, that's a home run.
See, this to me is a completely different issue than the H-1B thing, even. This is like a very specific type of like, okay, we're going to bring in these 20, 50, 100 people to train our own 20, 50, 100 or whatever it is, and then they go home. Now, the problem would be if they don't actually send them home. But this doesn't sound like any form of H1B visa program. This almost sounds like, based on the way Besson said it, completely different than the discussion we had back when Vivek Ramaswamy shit that down his pants. Apologies for swearing. I was reminded this weekend that the show is, I'm supposed to not swear on the show, so it is friendly for kids too, kid friendly. But anyway, I swore, my bad. But this sounds different, doesn't it? Like that what he just said, what Besson just outlined, like, yeah, we want to bring all this stuff home. We want to be able to refine these rare earths. We want to make our own semiconductors. We want to build these specific missiles, which why are we having foreign countries build that stuff anyway in the first place? It seems like a national security issue, if you ask me. But regardless, it's a story we're being told. If you want to believe it, this is the narrative we got to engage with. And so they're just going to bring him here to train us to do it, and then they're going back. Nothing to be upset about. Ghost of Base Patrick Henry says, sounds like consultancy. That is what it sounds like. On-the-job training. Great. Are there 100,000 of you? I have hundreds of friends and family that worked at Avondale shipyards. Did they build military ships? Probably not. Weld Monkey says, that's BS. I'm building ship parts right now for the shipyard and submarine yard. But are they like missile subs? Or are they just like commercial submarines like Badlands wants to buy? I don't know. Either way, guys, like this narrative coming up is interesting. And the America First debates are always a good thing. You just got to keep an eye out for the people that are using this to subvert Trump and not actually make it about the issue, because there's a lot of that going on. Trump does these divisive things and has these, moments of division where he says something that kind of sparks everybody like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Which is good. Gets you to critically think and not just cheerlead everything he does. But there are people that use that to subvert Trump along the way. And once he comes around to the other side of it and they don't come around with him, it's pretty revealing who was just trying to impede and impose. Goes to Base Patrick Henry says, I've heard that Ghislaine Maxwell is quite the submariner. Speaking of Ghislaine, actually, you know what? I want to save that story for one more second, because we haven't. Trump was mentioned in the Epstein emails or something. But I want to have you guys listen to Steve Bannon real quick and what he has to say, because this is what I agree with.
One thing I can tell you about corporate America: if you ain't on them about things like this, they're gonna have a workaround, because they want cheaper labor. You people, they don't like the Americans' attitude. They want cheaper labor, and they don't want to pay health benefits or retirement. Pretty simple. It's a big economic difference, but that's what I'm saying. American citizens got to come first here. You want to be the arsenal of democracy? You want to grow families that create young men and women that fought in these horrible wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, Vietnam, Korea, let's say everything since World War II. You want to create those heroes that you all say, thank you for your service? I tell you, don't say thank you for your service. Get on a company that's employing foreigners instead of American citizens. Every time you go in, you should ask them the question. People in the service, the last thing they need is your thanks. They do it for their country. They do it for their comrades in arms in the brotherhood of service. They don't need to be thanked. Every day in serving in those positions is a thank you. Ask every person that served, particularly most of the time, some make it a career, but the bulk go in for some period of your time in the 20s. I tell people it's the best thing you could ever do. The best thing you could ever do. So the country itself, by providing that opportunity, you're getting a thank you. You want to thank them? Make sure their families got their dads and moms got a shot to make a little money to raise them up right. Okay, do that. And take the economic anxiety away from it. You want to build a strong country? Do that. Do that. Don't give them a handout. They don't need a handout. only thing they want is not have the world come in here and compete against them every day in their own freaking country that they fought to defend and pay taxes for and built up. That's why people are so angry about this, and they should be angry about it.
You should be angry about it. Rookie Irish came up with a great idea, badsubs.com. Love it. And the thing is, like, duality of, bicamerally. Are we talking about submarines? Or are we talking about sub sandwiches? Either way, they're bad. And I love it. Man, we're gonna have so many businesses, guys. We have co-founded so many businesses. It's so much fun. By the way, what is with the little flashcard behind them? We can do hard things. Normally, I listen to banner. Or if I've seen this, I haven't noticed it. Like, aren't the first letters supposed to spell out like a word? Wicked hat? Like, what is that? Wicked hut? Or just like random words? Like, can I put random words on behind me and make like the first letters all bold and make it seem like it's a thing? I don't know. Sorry. Let's talk about there's some Clinton corruption files out there. We haven't seen them yet, at least as far as I know. They've sent the evidence to Congress, but Bondi and Patel unleashed new evidence about former First Family Foundation. They produced to Congress a new cache of documents showing how Bill and Hillary Clinton's foundation collected donations from foreign and domestic interests seeking influence, raising fresh concerns that such evidence was kept from federal prosecutors who tried to investigate pay-to-play allegations against the former First Family a decade ago. No way, they wouldn't have buried that, would they? The intelligence community, they would have buried something against the Clintons, but then later fabricated stuff against Trump? That doesn't seem like them. But I am excited for this stuff to come out. I'm sure Grassley will get this to us hopefully soon. What else we got? Yeah, this is like what's front and center on all the left-leaning mainstream media. Jeffrey Epstein mentioned Trump in private emails, new release shows. Even now, White House holds press briefing as newly released Epstein emails reference Trump, as if that's why they held the press briefing. But this is what it actually said. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with who that is, but he's a convicted sex offender whose death by suicide has spawned intense scrutiny of high-profile people he knew. Mentioned Donald Trump by name multiple times in private correspondence over the last 15 years with an associate and an author in Trump's orbit, according to newly released emails from Democrats on the House Oversight Committee. What I'm curious about right off the bat with this story, the people that have been trying to take down Trump for over a decade now, they just now found these emails. Like they have fabricated things many times over the past few years. Fabricated. Straight up made it up. Paid money to have somebody make it up just so they could use it against him and delegitimize him and all these things, tarnish his name. And this is the first time we're hearing about this. So, like, my question number one is, are these even legit? How do we know they're not made up? And remember what Trump said about the Epstein files back when this was a big thing a couple months ago and everybody's freaking out over that. He said that, they're fake. It's a hoax. It's a hoax just like the Russiagate was a hoax. As in fabricated. Because that's what Russiagate was. That's where my brain goes right away. If they're even legit. Number two, the emails to longtime Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell, who was convicted of sex trafficking after Epstein's death, and the author Michael Wolff include conversations in which Epstein asserts Trump spent significant time with a woman whom oversight Democrats describe as a victim of Epstein's sex trafficking. The emails also include a message in which Epstein asserts Trump knew about the girls, seemingly in reference to Trump's claim that he kicked Epstein out of his Mar-a-Lago club for poaching young women who worked there, according to the newly released emails. The emails were released Wednesday by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, who obtained them after subpoenaing Epstein's estate earlier this year. Trump did not receive or send any of the messages, which largely predated his time as president, and he has not been accused of any criminal wrongdoing in connection with Epstein or Maxwell. Oh, I was worried there for a second. CNN has reached out to the White House and Wolf for comment. In one email, I want to find the pictures of them. To me, these are nothing burgers. If they're even real. Like, Trump isn't part of the communications. They're talking about him. I want to find the images of him because the way, let me see if CanCon has it on Twitter. Ooh, here we got let's watch this.
Mary. Thank you, Kelly. 2 questions on this. In the interest of transparency, why not just go ahead, release the full files on Epstein, get this all over with?
This administration has done more with respect to transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein than any administration ever. In fact, this administration, the Department of Justice, has turned over tens of thousands of documents to the American people. We are cooperating and showing support for the House Oversight Committee. That's part of the reason you are seeing these documents that were released today, because of the House Oversight Committee's and Republicans' efforts to get these out to the public. This administration also moved, the Department of Justice also moved to unseal grand jury testimony, which we know, unfortunately, a judge declined those requests. So this administration has done more than any, and it just shows how this is truly a manufactured hoax by the Democrat Party. For now, they're talking about it all of a sudden because President Trump is in the Oval Office. But when Joe Biden was sitting in there, the Democrats never brought this up. This wasn't an issue that they cared about because they actually don't care about the victims in these cases. They care about trying to score political points against President Trump, as we have, of course, seen with this government shutdown. And this entire thing, again, it's not a coincidence to the American people at home. There are no coincidences in Washington, D.C. And it is not a coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news this morning ahead of Republicans reopening the government. This is another distraction campaign by the Democrat and the liberal media, and it's why I'm being asked questions about Epstein instead of the government reopening because of Republicans and President Trump.
There you have it. I do have CanCon's post here. The first one, new Epstein files or emails released by Dems. Chris Paul and I will break them down on Badlands Daily this morning, about 10 minutes. It was a good show. You should check it out. My quick take. We have speculated for quite some time that Trump has been an informant against Epstein. The dog that doesn't bark is Trump, followed by no mention of him, a reference to police chief, and then I'm 75% there. And then Maxwell responding that she's been thinking about it, supports that theory, big old dummies. And here's the first email from Epstein to Maxwell. I want you to realize that that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim, probably Guffrey, spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. And then Maxwell says, I've been thinking about that. There's another email. I hear CNN planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship with you, either on air or in scrum afterwards. Then Michael Wolf. Oh, wait. Then G Vacation. Who's that? If we were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be? Who is G? Anyway, this is the response from Michael Wolf. I think you should let him hang himself. If he says that's funny, because Epstein didn't hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you, or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him, generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey's a great guy, he's gotten a raw deal, and is victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in a Trump regime. That was 12/16 of 2015. Was that around the time that Trump was at CPAC and was asked a question about Bill Clinton? And I think that was February of 2016. This is before that, but this is interesting. And it doesn't matter, like this whole like are they trying to blackmail him or whatever? Trump was never on the plane or to the house. I guess he has been. So, well, there's no proof that he did anything wrong, so it doesn't really matter what they try to blackmail him with. It's all been public. They've been trying to use that against him forever, and it's never worked. But there's one more thing I want to show you guys, just having to do with Thomas Massie, because what she says on there is like, now, these people, they haven't said a single thing about Epstein for years. Then all of a sudden, with Trump in office, they're like all going gangbusters. Reminder that Thomas Massie, who has been one of the biggest proponents in terms of Republicans demanding the transparency about the Epstein files, prior to this, like recently with Trump in office, he hardly ever said anything about the Epstein files. The one time he's like, I demand the release of the Epstein client list, was in response to somebody Emerald Robinson, you should demand the release of the Epstein client list to the American public, and then we will know who's compromised. Start by leading on this issue. And that was like a almost in jest comment. And other than that, like he hadn't said a thing. Look at that. Nothing. But ever since this year, February, starting February and then July, it's like half his posts. That's all he ever talks about. It's political points against Trump. That's why he's done it. Trump sold MAGA out to the Jew and neocons. I don't know if I know about that. I don't know if I believe that. The dog that doesn't bark is a reference to Sherlock Holmes, says CanCon. Could be. A couple more headlines I want to get through real quick. Malay and Trump skip South Africa G20. Move seen as diplomatic slight. Yeah, I mean, basically is. But also, did you guys know the G20 has more than 20 countries? I'm pretty sure. Hold on, how many countries? There are 21 members in the G20 as of 2025. Dumb name for a group. It's not even accurate. But yeah, Trump should skip all the stuff with the globalists and these world leaders. He doesn't need them. Ukraine's energy minister resigns. Justice minister suspended in a $100 million corruption probe. I feel like every 3, 4, 5, 6 years or whatever it is, we get some new Ukraine energy corruption story that comes out, but we never get to the bottom of it. And they never tie it back to any of the U.S. political people, which they should and could, in my opinion. Maybe this time's different. But this happens. This is just a recycled story. We get this seriously every 4 or 5 years. Supreme Court is set to decide if states can count late mail-in ballots. Interested to see what they say, but they at least agreed to hear the Republican challenge. I am assuming they will say that you cannot count mail-in ballots received after Election Day. But who knows anymore? Who knows? See what happens. What else? Already covered that story. I might be done. That might be everything I got. Oh, we got this story. I'm sure Ghost has talked about this a few times. But an Israeli Knesset member, Nama Lazimi, leaks that Netanyahu issued a stand-down order on October 7th and ignored security protocol before the attack. The October 7th false flag has finally been exposed. The week after they admitted they raped prisoners too. Crazy. We already knew about this, though. This story came out a long time ago. But it's good that they're saying it in the Knesset, I guess. Bill Pulte posted this morning that they are actively evaluating portable mortgages. And to be honest, I didn't know what those even were, so I looked it up and I was like, why has this not been a thing before? This would be such a good idea. I mean, obviously it hasn't been a thing because the mortgage industry would look a lot different. It's like how they make their money is every time you get a new home or refinance or all those things, whatever, you have to go pay the fees, pay the bank, get a new mortgage, all those things, pay off your old one. It's basically a pyramid scheme. It is a pyramid scheme. But a portable mortgage, like if you get a good interest rate on a home and you move, you can just take your mortgage with you. That's base as hell. I love that idea. Especially since we're going to have like the 50-year mortgage. And when I run for president, it's going to be the 100-year mortgage. And so you're going to want to take it with you. If you like your mortgage, you can keep your mortgage. That's basically what it's going to be. And I think that's all I got. Yeah, that's all I got, guys. So, anything interesting in the chat that I should... Silver's up to 53.57. That's great. Oh, hold on. Is CC saying that she drove? I think there's some misinformation and disinformation going on in the chat. She did not drive 35%. No way. Maybe a little bit. Oh yeah, so if you guys aren't aware, December 13th, I'm going to be emceeing an event in Kansas. You know what? I should probably find the flyer for this. Kansas Reckoning. Here we go. So the Twitter account is at Kansas Reckoning on Twitter. And this is the event. Saturday, 12/13/2025, from 2 to 5 at Overland Park. Matt Gaetz is going to be headlining. I mean, headlining besides me, of course. Detroit pastor Lorenzo Sowell. Seth Keshel is going to be there. I'm going to be emceeing. It's going to be interesting. It's my first time ever like actually emceeing an event that isn't like a Badlands event. And who knows? Depending on how it goes, it'll probably be my last time emceeing an event that isn't a Badlands event. But who knows? Maybe I'm going to crush it. But you guys should come. If you guys are in the area and willing, you should come. And also, there's going to be a Badlanders meetup the next day, I think Sunday, around noon. I'll have more details and I'll post about that later. But it should be a good time and a good cause to support. So I'd encourage you guys to come to this, get your tickets. I think there's a couple of Rumble rants that came through. Let me look at those. Eleanor 2000, thank you, John, for an incredible experience at GART as a first-timer. It was great to meet you, Eleanor 2000. She gave us a little gift bag of stuff, which was really sweet of her. Very sweet lady. There's so many great people at GART. It's always awesome to meet. And we had like 50% or more were first-timers, which is always awesome as well. That's why we do them, kind of all over and 4 times a year. We don't expect everybody to come to every one, but we want everybody to like get that experience, and it's just great. And we are actively looking for our spring, likely sometime in March. I'm very limited in my availability in March. So, but as soon as we have that locked down, I'll let you guys know. And potentially a couple outside Badlands speakers that I'm hoping to bring on for panels or like at least live interview type thing. See if I can pull it off. And then again, Micro Toolmaker, great GART experience where we go one, we go all. Thank you, sir. Again, it was so good to see you. Babbage3, congratulations to Badlands for reaching 6,000 subscribers on YouTube. Are there any plans of monetizing the current channel? People are asking about it. Would love to. I don't know if we can. I'll have to look into it. I think we have like we're banned from monetizing that for a couple more months yet, but I'll double check on that and let you know. And the final demand, when you think about how all of American manufacturing, et cetera, has been shipped overseas for decades, U.S. tech secrets sold to enemies, does it not make sense we bring them back to rectify that inequity? Well, of course it makes sense to bring them back. I think that the issue seems to be like this misconception, and that maybe there needs to be clarification of exactly what Trump meant. But people are pissed because it sounds like, oh, we're bringing all these foreign workers in because we're not good enough. We can't do the job ourselves. And I don't necessarily think that's true. I don't think that's what Trump was implying. I don't think that's what he's saying. I think he's being very specific about like these, whatever, building specialized submarines, weapons, semiconductors, all those things. I'm sure we can figure it out ourselves. But regardless, I'm not going to freak out about it. The principal argument of what's America first, that stands for me. And Trump knows that, and Trump believes in that. If he is taking the side of an issue, he's doing it to spark the debate, because maybe there's going to be a reason for everybody being on the same page about, yeah, like that's not America first, because of something that's coming later. We just have to see. But I think with that, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Do me that favor. I will be back on tonight with Burning Bright for the DPH. What else is going on today? Shipwreck's got her show. Who else? Altered State, Shipwreck. Yeah, DPH. Guys, make sure you tune in. Gonna be a good day here at Badlands. Make sure you give us a follow. And yeah, as always, get your soft disclosure. I'll do that real quick as well, and then we'll get you guys out of here. Softdisclosure.com. Hit the thumbs up. I'll see you guys this evening. And thank you guys for tuning in and being patient with me while I was gone. It was a much needed little tune out while I was driving across the country. See you tonight.
Before skincare went synthetic, people used something simple, something real. Tallow. Grass-fed and finished beef tallow is packed with vitamins A, D, E, and K. Nutrients your skin actually knows what to do with. It locks in moisture, restores elasticity, and defends against winter dryness. No water, no preservatives, and no BS. Unlike plant oils or chemical creams, tallow mimics your skin's own structure. Elbows, hands, knees, post-shave. Anywhere your skin's crying for real moisture. Perfect for gifting or keeping your own skin soft when the cold hits. Visit softdisclosure.com and use promo code Badlands for 15% off. Ancient Care, modern truth.
Soft disclosure.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
2, 3. Let's get started.
That's what she said.
Oh, that's real good.
Why they stopping me? Stopping me.